Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Healing Conversations with me, Sherelle. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever I drop videos. And today we're going to be talking about learning to validate you. And the reason I wanted to speak and talk about this certain topic is because I feel like that's so important. I actually made a short video about this, but it was only 3 minutes and it wasn't really long enough to really for me to explain why this is such an important thing. So many of us do not know how to validate ourselves. We rely solely on other people. I'm sorry, on my shirt. We rely solely on other people to give us the validation that we should be giving ourselves. So many of us don't know how to love ourselves or put ourselves first because we are so busy wanting other people to do those things for us. And I kept sitting with myself, and this has been going on for years for me. And I felt like being in the situation I was in, I was always looking for other people to validate me. I was always sitting around waiting for people to give me the validation that I just could not give myself. So I'm in these situations that I shouldn't even be in, but I'm with these men because I need validation. Even in my friendships, I found myself wanting that validation and needing that validation because I felt like without my friends, without a man or a relationship, I was no one. And so that has been a huge struggle for me in my life, is that validation. I always felt like it came from other people, but it never came from me. And I've always struggled with trying to figure out why I needed that validation. And so going to therapy and digging into my childhood and figuring out who Sherelle was, and I'm still in therapy, and it kind of taught me why I needed that validation. When you have low self-esteem, when you don't love yourself, when you don't like yourself, when you struggle with codependency, when you struggle with anxious attachment style, which is things that I struggle with, and it all led to me being in the situations that I always would be in. And when I tell you, I had a conversation with a friend the other day, and it was a brief conversation. And they said, Sherelle, I'm just so lonely. They said, you don't hang out with me anymore. You don't want nothing to do with me. And they said, because of that, I'm lonely. I don't have anybody to hang out with me. I feel alone. I don't have anybody. I'm just by myself. And I looked at this particular friend and I was like, so you're putting that on me because you are in a situation right now where you feel like, you're alone, nobody cares about you, whatever the case may be. So now you want to turn that onto me. And I said to them, I said, I'm not responsible for you feeling alone. I said, you are responsible for yourself. I said, you cannot rely on me for happiness, just like I can't rely on you for happiness. I said, you have to want to be happy whether you're by yourself or with someone in your life. And I said, if you never learn to be alone, you'll never be happy when you're with somebody else because you're always going to be relying on other people to give you something that you don't even know how to give yourself. And I could tell the friend was receiving what I said, but they kind of weren't receiving it in the same token. And they were like, oh, I receive it. But I could tell that they were kind of thrown off by my response. And I tried to explain to them, last year I told them, and even years before that, I tried to explain to them I was feeling the same way, like I needed validation. But I was trying to tell them, once you start putting God first, you don't need validation from other people to be completed. You don't need validation from other people to feel something that you can give yourself. You don't need that. And I kept trying to explain to them, like, you're sitting up here feeling like you need all these things from people that the reality is you don't even really need from anybody but you. And I say all this to say that so many of us don't know how to be by ourselves. So many of us don't know how to sit and be lonely. Because even for me sometimes, as I'm still in my healing journey, I sometimes have issues with sitting with myself. I tend to be like, oh, I don't want to sit with myself. I don't want to sit with myself because I get that loneliness creeps in. But then as it surpasses and it goes away, I realize that, Sherelle, you have to be okay with being alone. You have to be okay with being single. You have to be okay with not having people around you. And when we really think about it, are we really alone? We have God. We have family and friends who value us. And I saw a sermon, if y'all watch Pastor Stephen Furtick, good pastor, by the way, saw her sermon one day, and he talked about when people leave your life, he said, you're so fixated on the person who left that you forget about the people who are still here. And so I say all this to say, when you're looking for validation within somebody in your life, whether they're a friend, family member, relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and they've left your life or it didn't work out and now you don't have that validation, you're forgetting about the people that are still with you. You're forgetting about people who are still gonna be with you through it all. And I think that people have to stop looking for validation within other people. Because when you do that, you set yourself up for failure. And I said, I'm not going to be responsible for another person's happiness or for another person's situation, because it's not my job to do that. Nobody can save me. Nobody can heal me. I have to do the work to heal myself. And I feel like so many people don't understand that. You're so busy seeking something with somebody else that you can't even get it put it in yourself. And I told a friend the other day, this is another friend, I said, when we think about dating apps, everybody's on these apps searching for something. Because even I was on there searching. I was looking for validation. I was looking for a relationship. I was looking for somebody to make me feel whole, because on my own, I didn't feel whole. I didn't feel like I was enough. And I needed somebody to validate me and love me and uplift me, because I couldn't give myself the things because my self-esteem was so low. I wanted to be a caretaker because I got codependency. So I'm on these dating apps searching, and I kept meeting the wrong men because I was broken. So how could I meet a whole man being that I was broken? I didn't even know what a whole man would have looked like because I was too broken to see one. And so I told my friend, I said, people on dating apps, they're looking for love. They're looking for friends. They're looking for entertainment. They're looking for hookups. They're looking for whatever they're looking for. But, everybody's searching for something. And like I told my friend, when you are searching for something, you're going to get the wrong person because you're not allowing it to find you. When you let love find you and you let God send you that person, then it works out the way you want it to. But when you're on there, especially like I was, looking for validation from men and looking for somebody to make you whole or feel good, you're going to meet the wrong person. And like I was watching a video of a girl the other day, and she spoke on how, you have to learn to let it find you. Stop looking for it, because when you're searching for it, you're just going to settle for anybody, which is true. But when you don't look for it and you just let it find you, it's different. And I say all this to say is that comes with validation. When you don't need nobody to validate you, you're okay with being by yourself. You're okay with sitting in that situation and being okay with being alone. But when you're constantly looking, but when you are actively just searching for something, it's going to never be what you want it to be. And you're always going to find yourself in situations that could have been avoided had you not went out here searching for something. I think so many of us don't see that. So many of us don't get why we have to stop searching and looking and trying to figure out why we haven't met our person, because you're not allowing God to send you that person. You're not allowing God to give you the things that you desire, the things that you need. So many of us, like one of my therapists, she said, Sherelle, a lot of women don't even know who they are without a man. A lot of women don't even realize it. That without a man, they don't feel like they don't even realize that without a man, that they don't know how to be without a man. And it's true. A lot of people, because even me, I was like, God, I cannot be single. I'll be single for 2 months and I'm in another relationship. And I couldn't figure it out. And then when I went through my last breakup, which was so devastating, I remember every day crying my eyes out after that breakup. And I couldn't figure out why I was crying. I said, why am I crying every day? I broke up with this person. I found out that they've moved on and they're dating someone new. And I'm just like losing myself. Crying every day, heartbroken, couldn't figure out for the life of me what was going on with me. And I can laugh about it now, but it was like, what is happening? And then it dawned on me, it's like, Sherelle. And I go to my therapist and I'm just like, she's like, Sherelle, you're upset because you're looking for validation from him, because you can't validate yourself. So you're mad that he moved on. You're mad that he's not chasing you. You're mad because you needed his validation. And without that validation, you do not feel good about yourself. And I had to sit with myself and I had to be like, that is so true. I needed his validation. I needed to feel like he needed me or wanted me. I needed him to call me beautiful. I needed him to tell me I was good enough or whatever. And then I finally got to a place where I was like, I don't need his validation. It took me a while to realize I didn't need my ex's validation. It took me months, but I got here. But I say all this to say, in order to learn to validate you, you have to be single for one. You have to be single and you have to learn to be alone, because that is the only way you're going to learn to validate yourself. 2, you have to know that you don't need another person in your life to be complete, that you complete you, you love you, you put yourself first. And then 3, you also have to learn to dig deep into your childhood, dig deep into anything in your life. because that's going to help you get to the bottom of why you feel like you need validation from other people, why you can't give it to yourself. And 4, you have to boost that self-esteem. Boost your self-esteem. Know that you are, like you used to say back in the day, all that in a bag of chips. They used to say that back in the day, y'all. And you have to know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, you will never get to the places that you need to be. My therapist said to me, Sherelle, what is Sherelle like? Who is Sherelle? And I said, I don't know. And she said, you got to figure that out. That's why you got to be single. And so I think that's the biggest thing. Figure out who you are as a human being. Another suggestion I'm going to make is put God first. God will guide you and put you on the right path for everything that you need and more in your life. And when you don't put God first, your life is not going to be what it could be. Your life could be so much more. But if you don't have God anywhere in your life and God is just not where he needs to be in your life, then you're going to keep being in the same situations over and over and over again. Because God is nowhere in your life. So your life is going to continue to be the same way over and over and over again until you finally say, I'm going to put God first. And one of the biggest things is take yourself on dates. Get to know who you are. So that way, no matter who leaves your life, no matter what happens in your life, you won't fall over. You'll still stand tall because you will know that even though, I'm going to use it as an example, even though Brian left my life, I'm still somebody special. I'm still somebody. I'm important because you know what? Brian don't validate me. I validate me. You have to get to that place. And it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight because I'm still healing. But once you get there, you will see the beauty that life has to offer you. You will see the beauty that, God has in store for you. And you will start to see the changes that your life is about to take and the things that are about to happen in your life because you finally have done the work to love you, to put you first. And that is going to be the beauty in everything. The beauty of it all is that you get to enjoy being with you. You get to enjoy loving you. You get to enjoy putting yourself first. And of course, I would be lying if I said it was going to be easy, especially when you're healing and you might be broken. It's not going to be easy. But when you get to that finish line, it's going to be so worth it. But don't ever allow another person to feel like they have to validate you in order for you to be special. You are special on your own because God made you just the way you are and you're beautiful. Remember that. And this goes out for anybody watching this video. You don't need someone to validate you. Remember that. And remember, you are going to be okay whether you have someone or you don't have someone in your life. Because you are a child of God and God loves you and he's going to cover you and he's going to make sure you're good. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Again, this is Sherelle from Healing Conversations. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.